Okay, so let's talk about the Black Phone 2, which we just got the trailer for, and I already made a video talking about the teasers, and in that video I said, we're going to get it in a week or two, the trailer, but we got it that same day, and I was just like, oh, now I got to record a trailer breakdown. So let's get into it. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, y'all. Really would appreciate you subscribe. That's the big goal for the summer. Let's get to 50K. But let's talk about the Black Phone 2, which is being called by Scott Derrickson a coming-of-age high school movie, whereas the first Black Phone was a coming-of-age middle school movie. So this is a high school coming-of-age movie right here. Break down the trailer and talk about what exactly is going on here, because I am super excited for the Black Phone 2, one of my most anticipated horror movies all year. So this pretty much showcases that we are going to be changing scenery. We're going to be in the snow, y'all. We're going to be in the snow. And in the teasers that I talked about, it showcased that they are going to be at a camp of sorts. And the main protagonist, of course, Finney, is returning, as well as his sister Gwen. But this film looks like it's really focusing more on Gwen and her abilities to sort of be able to have visions and dreams of the grabber and what exactly is happening. So in the trailer and in the teasers we got already, they showcase these three boys that the grabber seems to have killed. And the big question is, how did the grabber manage to do this? Because at the end of the Black Phone, we saw that Finney killed the grabber. So how is it possible for the grabber to still be out here doing all of this horrible stuff? So we do see Finney is a bit older now. We do see that Gwen as well is older. Like I said, Scott Derrickson has teased that this is a high school coming of age, whereas the first one was a middle school coming of age. So about 2 or 3 years have mostly passed since then, and we get glimpses of the boys as they get sort of like killed by the grabber. And it seems that this picture right here is the grabber, like almost using the pictures as trophies. We see Gwen and Finney here struggling with the fact that Gwen is having visions of the grabber again, and of course a slew of phones appear in the trailer because this is the Black Phone movie. We do see that Gwen somehow in her dreams ends up in the basement that the grabber used in the first film to capture Finney as well as the other boys, and it seems that Finney as well is going to be having some pretty interesting visions of the grabber as well. As you can see here, the grabber's lair has been vandalized, with the grabber burns in hell being graffitied on there. Finney looks like he's pretty much done right here, and the grabber looks like we're just getting started. Honestly, such an insane shot right here. Really is reminiscent to the first phone. Gwen is looking like she is losing her mind. It's giving me a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 vibes here with the camp, and also with Gwen having these horrible nightmares, and we'll talk more about that. More creepy dead kids as well are going to be following, because that is what the Black Phone 2 is about. This is a very interesting shot of the grabber here skating with an axe. Such an ominous and scary image. I am super scared to watch this in the theater, y'all. I don't know, y'all. This shot right here is so intense and it's crazy, because you clearly see that Gwen is being like thrown around by the grabber in her sleep. So that's where we're getting these Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. Of course, like I said, all of this seems to be happening in Gwen's mind, and then the grabber appearing towards the end here, as you can see in front of Gwen, and also here taking out his mask, showcasing just how demented and demonic he looks now. So like I said in my other video talking about the Black Phone 2, this is clearly Scott Derrickson, Robert Cargill, as well as Joe Hill really taking this to another level, and a level that I feel is much closer to a nightmare-esque. The Black Phone does release this October, on October 17th, 2025, and I assume that we're going to be getting a premiere at Fantastic Fest, because the first one premiered there, and I'm so ready for this. Honestly, Mason Thames, Madeleine McGraw, Ethan Hawke starring in this, and the synopsis or premise reads: as Finn, now 17, struggles with life after his captivity, the headstrong 15-year-old Gwen begins receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and seeing disturbing visions of three boys being stalked at a winter camp known as Alpine Lake. Determined to solve the mystery and end the torment for both her and her brother, Gwen persuades Finn to visit the camp during a winter storm. There, she uncovers a shattering intersection between the grabber and her own family's history. Together, she and Finn must confront a killer who has grown more powerful in death and more significant than either could imagine. Oh, this is interesting. There is a intersection between the grabber and their own family. Okay, y'all, we're gonna get into some theories for this probably later in the week. Stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be busy this week, so I'm gonna try and make that video hopefully during the week if I can, and upload it by the weekend. But y'all, this just is interesting right here. I hadn't read this. I definitely do find it interesting that the grabber is so attached to Finney. Yes, albeit Finney was the one that killed him, but there was sort of like a powerful force that was connecting Gwen to the grabber for some reason. And I think we're about to see, or witness a truly shocking film here. It's going to be a make it or break it if it's an insane twist, right? But I'm all here for it. I'm super excited. I love the first film, and I'm definitely excited for this one as well. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comments down below. And it's funny to see Mason Thames being here in the Black Phone 2, and he's also going to be in How to Train Your Dragon in a couple of weeks. So I thought that was pretty interesting right there. But super excited, cannot wait. The Black Phone 2 teaser, it looks incredible and just as eerie as ever. Let me know what you think about this whole aspect of the Grabber being like Freddy Krueger now. Do you think that's a good move, or are you not there all the way with it, right? And of course, they were always going to make a Black Phone sequel because the first one, it was $18 million budget and got a 161 million box office. So it's like no brainer, y'all, no brainer. But with the Grabber dead and now coming back to life in the second film, I'm very curious to see how that's going to be. And we did have Scott Derrickson talking to the Hollywood Reporter saying the first movie was a ghost movie, but all the ghosts were victims, which is typical, a ghost story. But in this one, you've got a ghost that is a villain. So that's pretty interesting aspect here, that it's going to feel a lot more different from that. And you know, I'm here for it, and I'm very excited to see what Scott Derrickson will deliver. He also teases that the movie is more violent, scarier, and more graphic, and that's because of course the kids are a bit older now, so that's why he was able to get a little bit crazier with this one. And I'm excited to see what this movie is going to look and feel like. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I already talked about the teaser, which had a little bit more of Gwen talking in it, and I think the tagline here, that dead is just a word, is a very great one. The Grabber is teasing them, basically saying like, hey, you had those dead kids help you before, so you shouldn't be surprised that I'm here now trying to get my revenge, which I think is going to make such an interesting film. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Black Phone 2. I'll try to make my theory video this week. I do have a 28 years later theory already recorded that should be popping up. Like I said, I'm going to be busy this week, so I'm going to try and make some shorts and videos for y'all, so stay tuned. But as always, I'll see all of you next time. Hit the subscribe and notification bell. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers. As always, stay safe, stay positive.
I had a bad dream.